Hi guys, thanks so much for coming to this group. How is everyone?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Good.
Good. Okay, so we're just gonna establish some ground rules. As always, try to be, respectful of everyone and everyone's time. Make sure that we stay on task. I would like to start with an icebreaker activity, which today that's gonna look like I'll go first. What is the best thing that has ever happened to you as of right now? So for me, I feel like the best thing that's ever happened to me as of right now in my life is probably one, having kids, but I feel like that's very like obviously duh. But I feel like the next best thing that's not as obvious is getting through my bachelor's degree because that was really like I had really really fought for that one and I thought I wasn't even going to graduate high school. So that was probably as of right now aside from family, that is the best thing. What about you, Michelle?
I think we touched on this before, and obviously I'll say what you said, aside from the norms, because
Mhm.
I'm a mom too. Um, and I'm a lot older than you. So, and you, Katie, Shauna will relate. Um, but I think we mentioned before, and I'm gonna go along with you again, when I got my diploma in the mail for the BSW, and I have an associate's degree. I have a couple associate's degrees.
Mhm.
I never went to the graduations for any of those. I didn't go to the graduation for the BSW. I was just like, yeah, whatever. It's just another thing. But when I got the diploma in the mail for the BSW, I just think I sat there for a few minutes and just was like,
You
wow.
did it.
Just like, yeah, just
Mhm.
was like, this is a 4-year degree. Don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but it was just like a sense of accomplishment that just knowing that I did that and knowing that I was going to go on and to the MSW program. So yeah, that was just something that I was super proud of.
I love that. How about
Yeah.
you, Katie?
I have to be basic and I have to say having my son.
He's a little
Only
brand
be
new though, so you get a
he is
little
very
time.
brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm brand new to motherhood, but it was very traumatic. So he was 2 months early
Mm,
and spent a month in the NICU.
Mm.
They told us the day after he was born that we were 24 hours away from losing him and my wife.
Oh
mm,
wow.
So just the fact that he's here, she's here, they're both very healthy. Definitely the greatest thing, yeah, was that we had someone on our side or something on our side that day to have him get here safely. So yeah, definitely the birth of my son has to be the greatest thing.
I love that. And it almost like as traumatic as it can be, it almost makes it even better. Like when you
Yeah.
come home and you're like,
Oh
yes, we
yeah.
did it. And we're
Oh
all
yeah.
alive. How great.
Having him in the NICU for a month was a lot. And
Oh,
it was April to May, so it was like finishing up our BSW.
mm.
We
right.
were
Oh
going back and forth to the hospital twice a day. It was a
gosh,
lot.
you poor
Yeah,
thing.
that
Well,
sounds like
it
a lot.
seems like you're in a much better place now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good
Very,
for you. I love
very.
it. How about you, Shauna?
Um, let's see. I think getting married, having kids. I don't know. The best thing that's ever happened to me. I guess like I can go along with like the my bachelor's degree. I worked my butt off for that as it's behind me. See? Oh,
Mhm.
oh.
I know mine's right above me.
And and me creating a small farm at my house. I think that's my
Mhm.
sanctuary, that's my safe space, that's my with my family and my home, that's like my pride and joy
I
is
love that.
is my small farm. My chicken over the weekend apparently came out of she sleeps with the goats, came out of the goat area with 7 babies. I was like, what were you doing hatching babies in there?
Oh
So
my
I had little
gosh.
baby chicks, and then one of them was so cute, and he was kind of like, I think he had just been born, probably like 20 minutes before she gathered them all out and came out. And so he was kind of wobbly. So I separated him and held him like in my shirt for like the rest of the night. And like, it was the best thing ever. I just love farming. I love being a small farmer. So
I
That
love that.
is
I think that's
that is that's a huge goal of mine. I would love that. Do you like, which I don't know, some people are weird about this, and I don't know. You can be weird about it if you want. Totally cool if you want. Do you collect their eggs and eat them? Your chicken's eggs?
I do, not as much as I should. I
Okay.
am very notorious for like leaving them for like
Yeah.
3 days and being like, I don't know which ones are new and old. So I'm just gonna and I feed them all back to the chickens because it's
Yeah.
healthy for them.
Mhm.
So when I'm really on top of things and my life is going well, then I will
Right.
collect them and give them away to people or will eat them. But
Yeah.
sometimes I just so we do buy store-bought eggs, which is crazy because it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But you
Mhm.
can't with eggs from our chickens, I can't make deviled eggs. They won't peel
What?
correctly.
Oh,
Yeah,
weird.
it's weird. They won't peel correctly. So I have to get at least eggs for that. But for the
Gotcha.
most part, we eat them. Like if I'm out of eggs, I'll just go outside and get some. So
Yeah, I love that so much. That's like my life goal
Mhm.
right there. So next, since everybody got to share, does anybody else have anything to add to that, or are we good with that? No? Okay, cool. So my topic for this evening is self-care. And I know we've talked a little bit about that in the past, but today I think it's just a perfect timing for us to focus on what that looks like for each of us. I've done a lot of reading and research, and I work with a functional health doctor. I know I mentioned that before too, and I've kind of done some research through her as well about nervous system regulation and nervous system resilience, and how those two things are pretty much the absolute foundation of all health and wellness. Like how you feel mentally, physically, spiritually, all the things. If you can't have one without the other. Um, so I think it's really important because you can't, people preach self-care all the time, right? Like it's so important. You can't pour from an empty cup, blah, 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 which is great. But if you're not regulated, self-care is not gonna work. It can't just be like what do they call it? Um, it can't just be like a fad. You know what I mean? Like going to get your nails done is not self-care. Taking a
Yeah.
shower is not self-care. Those things, we're talking like deep breathing every day. We're talking mindfulness, being intentional, all those things. So the fad, it can't be like a fad that people are just like, oh, check it off your box. You did self-care today. It's much more about practicing every day to regulate your nervous system, which that looks like simply like slowing down your mind and your body for a certain amount of time every day. And it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. So, and then nervous system resilience like coincides with that because you have regulation, which obviously we all know what that is. Resilience, nervous system resilience is basically where you teach your body, one, to trust you again, and two, that you can handle hard things. So it can be stressed, but the resilient part is that you're bouncing back from that. You're not staying in that fight or flight constantly, which I feel like a lot of us struggle with. Um, so with the resiliency and the regulation coinciding, again, you can't have one without the other. That allows your body to be in a space where it can actually intake the self-care mechanisms, whatever they look like to you, that you're implementing. One of the things I know that I've talked about before is input versus output, right? So you have all of this stress input coming at you, your kids, your marriage, finances, paying your mortgage, taking care of your cow, Shauna. I don't know what that looks like for you. But I imagine that can be stressful sometimes. But you have all this input, right? And if you're not matching it with stress output, that can cause huge issues. And that also comes with you're overstimulating yourself. There's no regulation to the balance of input and output. And that can obviously, we know, lead to burnout, lead to like chronic illness, lead to a whole bunch of yucky things. So in this long run, I feel like for me, I really have been trying to focus on what that actually means to me if I'm not just going along with the fad, right? Like, what does it look like for me? Not what did I see on TikTok that I like should be doing, right? So, self-care for me, starting there, in order to do that and actually take in and like absorb the self-care that I'm doing, I know for me personally, to achieve nervous system regulation and resilience, it is really important for me every morning. I know that I should, not that I do every day because life's crazy. I should get outside within 5 minutes of waking up and put my face in the sun. I know that I shouldn't I shouldn't be on my phone within the first hour of waking up. I know that I should, you know, drink lemon water before my meals to make sure that my digestion is good, because if my digestion isn't good, my nervous system's not good. I know that I should limit my screen time throughout the day. I know that I should be mindful, like, when I'm sitting and eating dinner, I should eat slow and be mindful and not be doing homework or watching TV all at the same time. I know that self-care for me looks in this moment like nourishing my body the way that I need and moving my body as much as I can. And the reason I feel like I don't there's a lot more options, right? Like you can pick from 1,000 different options, but because we have such limited time, it's about what I have time for. And again, the fads make you feel like you have to do a million things per day to take care of yourself, which that would be great. If we had time for, that would be great. But all I can focus on right now is limiting my screen time, making sure I'm getting outside, moving my body, and eating well. That's all I have. Right now, that's all I have. And I feel like as time goes on, being in that space and taking those little steps will lead me to being regulated and resilient enough to keep adding some more stress outputs. You know what I mean? To add some more self-healing, self-care tasks to make the long term better, I guess you could say. So that was my long rant. Shauna, do you want to share like what self-care looks like for you right now? Oh, you're
Muted
muted.
myself.
Oh,
So I agree with you. Self-care is it kind of looks different for everyone, right? So for
mhm.
me, it's making sure that I take time to relax. So I have chronic illness. I have chronic everything. I have endometriosis. I have everything. This week, I thought I could power through a Monday instead of taking self care when I knew I was in pain and I had a seizure at work.
Oh,
So for me, it looks like taking a break when I need to. It's when I cut gluten out of my diet, my body is 100 times better. So, what do I do? I started putting gluten back in, knowing that I shouldn't do that. So, again, I need to make sure that I'm following those rules that I know.
mm-hmm.
Um, you know, as a therapist, I still see a therapist, and my therapist knows, Shauna, what's going to happen if you pile so many things onto your plate? And what happens is I have a seizure or my chronic illness comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And then my body makes me take days off. And it's
Yep.
not a choice because I will hit the floor otherwise, or you're going to sleep and you're going to take a day off. So I have to be careful of how much I put on my plate, how much I work, how much I give to others.
Mm-hmm.
I have to set boundaries. I have to make sure that I am taking care of me with, like you said, with eating right and making sure I'm taking time.
And I
And
feel like that makes it so true with the saying that if you don't give yourself a break, your body's going to give you a break and it's going to be at the most inconvenient time. It's not going to be good for you and it's not going to
yes,
be good for your body. So if you don't do it for yourself, you know what I mean? And we all
yes,
feel that, I feel like. You know,
yes. My body was like, here's your abdominal infection. Now we're going to
right.
give a
There's
seizure and then you
enough.
can take 3 days off. So here you
Right.
go,
Take
Shauna.
a
You
break.
better
Right.
figure it out or I'm going to figure it out for you. Thanks, body.
Right.
So
Katie, how about you? Thank you for sharing, Shauna. I love that. I think that rest is so, so important. Good sleep is so important. Katie, what about you?
I definitely try to do self-care. I don't know if I necessarily do a good enough job when it comes to like the whole nervous system kind of thing. I do know that I don't read at night. That's like my biggest thing before I go to bed. Like that's like my wind down routine. Like I need to read some fantasy books before I go to sleep and totally leave this world and go join that world.
Mhm.
Um, I do use like a weighted blanket. I know that that's good for you
Mhm.
and your body. And so I will use a weighted blanket. I have one, like a lap one at work too, that like I'll put on my shoulders if I feel like I need to.
Cool.
Um, something we used to do at work that I was out for maternity leave all summer, so now I'm like back. But I'm only back 3 days a week because of interning. We use the Calm app
Oh
and they
yeah.
have like a daily like mindfulness like exercise like stretching like we'll pick a different one and it's only like a 10 like 5 to 10 minute thing and me and my coworkers will go like in our big training room and like use the big board and we'll do
Aw.
it together. So we just started doing that again, which is really nice. And so I think that's a good when we like stretch and like or do like yoga moves and stuff together. That's something that we do at work that helps us with
What a
the
good
self-care.
idea.
I love
Yeah.
Yeah.
your job, by the way. Where do you work? And I need somebody to understand this because most of our jobs as social workers, like in my internship, it's like run, 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 run. And they're like,
Right.
we want you to be hired here. And I'm like, I like run, but also like Katie said, you need that like
Yeah. No, I'm very lucky with my actual job. It's at a child advocacy center, and so we help kids who have been severely physically or sexually abused. So it's a
Mhm.
lot.
Yes, we talked about that. Yep.
It's a lot. So they really focus on self-care. Like they put a whole gym in the basement that we can take an hour out of our day, like paid, go work out. We have like police officers for like every department. We have CPS workers, we have
Mhm.
mental health therapists, like all in our building. We also have hospital workers too, like doctors for the kiddos to get exams if they need it. So like we all can go down there and use it. And we have like a relaxation room.
That's
Like
amazing.
it's yeah, they're really good about self-care where I
Our
work. I'm
child advocacy
very
center
lucky.
in Canandaigua needs to take some notes from you because I worked at there and they don't do any of that stuff. None of it.
Oh yeah, they're really good.
Good. That's amazing. I love that. I wish that everyone would do that. That would be great.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
How about you, Michelle?
Well, we know I struggle with this. My mind does not turn off.
Mhm.
I am up a lot during the night. Um, I think even more now with my internship, now that I'm starting to get cases, I think it will get better as I get going along, but um, I just talked about this today. I had a case the other day and just the smallest thing just set me off and my mind just would not turn off over the smallest thing and I was just up all night. Um, I mean, I do go to bed early, but I'm like you said, I need to cut down on my phone. I'm just sitting there scrolling on my phone when I should be relaxing and I'm not. Um, I just I just don't know how to stop.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I do struggle with this one a lot. I know I need it because I do see where that burnout is going to happen fast. Um, but I've always been like that. Um, for my whole life. I've always just been go, 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 go. And now that I have kids and I have a job and I have another job and I have school and I have the internship, I'm just constantly going. But I do see, like you
Mhm.
said, when your cup gets so full, it's going to, and when you have so much coming in but nothing going out, that's going to cause a problem.
It's
So I
gonna
do
overwhelm.
recognize, yeah. So I do recognize a problem, but I also recognize how that I'm the problem also.
Well,
Um,
it's not even just that, but it's also that like our world literally doesn't allow for it.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? When you're a
yeah,
full-time mom working full-time in school, doing all the things, even not even in school, like if you have kids, you rarely have time for it. Like, and I
yeah,
don't care what anybody says, a lot of people will be like, "Well, just wake up earlier." No. I don't
yeah,
want to. Why would I want
right.
to wake up at 4 a.m., get to the gym by 5? Like, no, if I can go to the gym in the morning, great, but I'm not waking up at 5 a.m.
Yeah,
Period. All there is to it. I love that. I think that, I mean, the first step is admitting that you aren't sure. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Admitting you have a problem.
Yes, that's all there is to it. I saw last time I went to see my functional health doctor, she said something to me and then posted it on Instagram just the other day. So it was kind of like a reassurance thing. She posted that healing your body, um, healing your body with no regulation is like building a house in the middle of a hurricane. So there's no, without self-care, right? Without self-care and nervous system regulation, trying to heal your body is literally impossible. Like you can't have one without the other. If I feel like it all stems back to if you have digestive issues, mental health issues, if you're chronically ill, that all relates back to your nervous system and how your body has, because your body's dark on the inside, right? So anything you do on the outside, your body has no idea what's happening. You're just sending it signals from the inside. So it's almost like your body has to learn how to trust you again, and without self-care, it can't do that. So that that closes my group. I think we've met our time. I hope that everybody enjoyed it. I hope
Definitely
that
was awesome.
I hope that everybody can develop some extra self-care tasks. I know that we all need it. But yeah, that's it. Until next time.
Thank you so
So much.
much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.